Hey everybody, it's Angelina, and today I'm like super excited because Taylor Swift announced her 11th studio album called The Tortured Poets Department. I keep almost messing it up and calling it the Tortured Poets Society, but we got it. So she announced it last night at the Grammys. I was actually watching it live, and I actually have a short up on my channel already of my reaction to it. It's pretty cringy because I was not expecting anyone to see that video, but my reaction was just so genuine and like freaked out, and I've never been able to really capture a genuine excitement like that before of my own, so I wanted to post it so you can go watch that. I fully thought that she was going to announce Rep, and that was Reputation Taylor's version, and that's why I was recording. So imagine my surprise. But yeah, so I just want to like talk a little bit about the album, what we know so far, get into like what I think will be on the album. Like, it's a lot, and I was thinking about putting together like a loose script for this video, but I just like really just needed to like almost like word vomit and like get all my thoughts out before I lose them, because my mind's like going a mile a minute with this news because I just was not expecting it. We're like 72 days away from it. Like, I was genuinely expecting Taylor's versions this year. I thought maybe we might get TS11 at the end of the year, like at least an announcement. So this is super surprising. I was just like at the earliest like maybe August, but this is crazy. So yeah, so she announced it last night at the Grammys when she won Pop Vocal Album. And yeah, as soon as she said the name, I was like, oh, this is like, as an Evermore girl, like my favorite album of Taylor's of all time is Evermore. I'm like, this is in my bag. So, and when she said like, oh, I'm gonna go backstage and post the cover, like I freaked out. Like, and the cover like is so interesting to me. I feel like it just says so much without saying anything at all. Like, it's great. And so on her website, she obviously put up the pre-orders and stuff, but she also had the Tortured Poets Department Collector's Edition CD and the bonus track, the manuscript, which I find it so interesting that she said the name of the bonus track. She usually obviously doesn't do that. That's usually the last thing we would get is a bonus track, like an announcement or name, at least for the bonus track. So I feel like it's very telling. So I got the Poets Department Collector's Edition CD that comes with a bookmark, an envelope, a magnet, a like patch. Like, to me it's very much giving like library. Like, it feels like almost like library card type thing. I do really think that this is her like true like poet album, even more than Folklore and Evermore. Everything, it was like selling out on her website. All the vinyls, the lines were super long. I didn't have the money to get the collector's edition I wanted to get, and it was like, oh, available for this many, for like 70 hours or whatever. So I was like, oh, I can get it later, like tomorrow. But then I looked and it was already like not available. But then I found out that my mom actually had ordered it last night, and she said that she was in the line to get it for like 42 minutes, 30 to 42. So like super high demand already. I just think that this album is like, she said that in her Grammy thing that she's been keeping this secret for 2 years, and I see that seems to be confusing a lot of people, and they take that as she completed the album 2 years ago. I didn't at all. I see it as she started working on the album 2 years ago, with the release of Midnights, I think that her 2 years would mean that because I think that Midnights was turned in a couple months prior, obviously, to release. I think that this album was probably started either right at the tail end of writing Midnights, or as soon as she was done writing Midnights, she kept on writing and started writing for the next album, which would be this one. I do not think this is like, oh, a backlog. Some people think it's Midnight's B-sides, and I'm like, no, this is like a whole new thing. I don't know what people's obsession is with her putting out old stuff that she never put out. Like, I remember when Midnights was announced, everyone was like, oh, this is vault tracks from whatever, but I'm like, no, she would not say brand new if it was old stuff. So I think it's all new songs that she has written within the past 2 years. I would say maybe, I saw somebody say that this album was probably turned in around October of last year, and I could definitely see that. I think you have to turn in albums usually at like 2 months, unless it's not going to have a physical release, obviously, like Folklore, like as soon as it comes out. But I think it's usually 2 months before the album is announced. You usually turn it in. So yeah, I think that this album at least goes to October of 2023. Yeah, so also on her website, if you go to like where she's selling the standard CD, and she shows a little bit of this actual CD, it says like under TTPD, it says file name The Manuscript, which makes me think, is she gonna have like, because we know she loves doing different covers and stuff, and I hope this isn't true purely for money that would need to be spent to be able to collect this stuff, because I was like, what if she's doing like different files and stuff? So like the one that she just put out is The Manuscript, but she's gonna have another one that's a different track title, and you can get that version of it. And then that's not saying I don't put that past her, so I definitely think that's a possibility. Hoping it's not just for the sake of saving money and not spending a whole bunch of money on the exact same CD. But we've seen with like Midnights and Folklore that usually she does something like that. I do think that there will be alternate covers to this album. Even though the vinyl sales already broke the record of Midnights, which is insane. Like it said, like in the first like half hour, it had broken Midnight's sales. And then also like for like the color, like for the CD, it says that it's ghosted white, which makes me think like, is ghosted gonna be a track title, because obviously, or like in a lyric, because obviously with Midnight she had like the Blood Moon, and then Blood Moon was a lyric on Glitch and stuff, or on 1989 she had like Sunrise Boulevard version that ended up being a lyric. So I'm like, is Ghosted gonna be a lyric or a track title? Also, this is most definitely her white album. If you saw my last video, where I was going through all her past aesthetics of her albums, I talked about like her kind of running out of colors, and I don't know if I mentioned in that video, maybe not, but that white is a color she can still use. And this is, to me, this is most definitely her white album. Some people are saying it's beige tan, but when she posted it on her Instagram, she used a white heart. So I feel like this is the white album, and obviously she wore the white dress to the Grammys. To me, I feel like this album is going to sound like a mix between Folklore and Evermore, which obviously those are sister albums and they sound pretty much alike, but I think it will have the more upbeat sounds that Evermore had, mixed with the mid-tempo-ness of like songs on Folklore. So like, a long story short, but like, this is me trying and stuff. I think I saw another person say that they feel like this was the jumping off point after Renegade. If you know that song, her song with Baby Red Machine, and I could definitely see that also. I honestly think this, I also think of the Alcott that she did with The National. That song is very much gives me the vibes of what we know so far about this album, so I think that is another song to look at for what we might be able to expect from this album. This is her longest album title also, The Tortured Poets Department. I see a lot of people like already like mixing up the name like I do, people calling it the Dead Poets Society and stuff. So this is definitely going to be something to like not adjust to, because that seems too serious, but like, we've never had, the longest album title that we've had is Speak Now. So now we have 4 words, and she's already gone ahead and shortened it for us to TTD at, see, I'm already messing up, the TP, the TT, the TTPD. Yeah, I don't know why I want to put it as at the end of that, but yeah, and like, what I was kind of, I think, is that I feel like this is going to be, because I know some people think this is going to be a collab album. I do think maybe this will be her most collaborative. I think it's going to be a lot like Folklore Evermore, where it's her, Jack, and Aaron, and maybe some other people here and there. I definitely think there will probably be at least one feature. I don't know who with. She was with Lana, so I kind of think like maybe Lana will be on another song, because she was with Lana a lot at the Grammys. Also maybe another song with Phoebe Bridgers. I don't know, just some guesses. Well, if Bonnie Bear makes another appearance, and this is definitely the third sister album to Folklore and Evermore, because I saw people saying that too, which I don't know if it, to me, I do think sound-wise it's going to be similar to those, but I don't know if necessarily subject-wise it's going to feel like the third part to that story, especially with it being like poetry. It seems very personal, and obviously Folklore and Evermore were not supposed to be necessarily that personal albums. Obviously they had their parts of it that were personal to her, but I feel like obviously overall those are supposed to be fictional albums, and I don't feel like this is supposed to be a fictional album, so I kind of feel like it's not really the third sister album. But if Bonnie Bear's on it, it's gonna be kind of like, oh, so maybe, because I feel like he could be like the through line. I think more so because people see the word department, so they think it's gonna be, and like her being the chairman, so they think it's gonna be like a big collab album. But I think what she wants it to kind of be like is as if she is working in the like poetry department of like a library or something like that. Like, she is the head of the department, which kind of fits with her role, I think, in the industry. Everyone sings about their heartbreak, like all the pop stars are singing about heartbreak in their life, but she's kind of like the resident person, like she is the main person, I think, for that, or who is known for that. So her being the chairman of the Tortured Poets Department kind of like makes sense with that, and I wonder if that's something she's going to touch on, as and the album was being known as kind of the sad girl. I remember one of her, when she did Rolling Stone, around the time Red came out, the like cover like said like the Heartbreak Kid, and like that's something that always like stuck with me. So I feel like maybe she's going to touch on being known as the girl who's always heartbroken, and I think that could also fit into what we might find out about her relationship with Joe Alwyn and stuff, and how that went, because I do think this album will tell the like story of it, kind of, maybe not from beginning to end, but like the downfall and the falling apart part. Something else I saw is people wondering if she's going to talk about Travis Kelce on this album. I think there's a chance we might get one song about him, but I think overall I would say probably not. Maybe we might get some parts alluding to him. Maybe she went back and added some stuff, but if what I think is true, or I think this album was probably turned in and we're in the last 3 months, at least either October, November, or December of this past year, unless it's her talking about the very beginning. I could see maybe us getting like a Begin Again type song at the end, but I think a full-on song completely dedicated to him is probably a little bit more unlikely, unless it's something that she goes back and adds, like maybe that bonus track. I don't know, is it? I don't know, but I would say like probably don't expect their early timeline in one song. And also for Matty Healy, will we get any songs by him? I think we could maybe get some alluding to him. I think we would get some alluding to him in the way we got alluding to like Calvin or Tom, probably more towards how Calvin was addressed, which like he literally got like one lyric in Reputation. So I think something like that, but I definitely don't really see him getting his own song, but who knows, because again, I do think she's probably been working on this album since like sometime in 2022, and for how she'll incorporate it into the Eras tour, I kind of assume that she probably won't. I think if anything, she might add an extra song into the surprise song set, and like so like do her like 2 surprise songs and then switch each song out from the new record and do a different one from that record each night. So 3 surprise songs instead of 2. Some people do think she's going to add a whole new set or add it onto Folklore Evermore, which I wouldn't put it past her, but at the same time, I feel like as someone who already went to the concert, I know this is such like woe me, but like it would kind of suck to be like, oh, me and all these other people are paid for the exact same concert, but they get extra stuff just because they are going at a different time. I don't know, it's like, and also like because the album comes out April 19th, I don't even think I said that, and so she still has a full like 2 months of, I think there's 17 shows until the album comes out, so also all those people would be missing out on all the new stuff literally right before the new stuff comes out. So I feel like it would suck, but obviously like if she really wants to, that's her choice. But also like having to have like the dancers and the band, learn all new choreography and music and stuff in like such a short amount of time, because I mean maybe they knew about the music, but I highly doubt, like I'm sure her band obviously knows, like Amos and like Paul and all those people, but I'm like, did she really tell every single like dancer and like crew member about this album? Because she would have had to if they were gonna like add a whole new set to the tour. So I kind of feel like probably not. Yeah, at least, but also I think it also probably depends on the sound of the album. If it is a super upbeat album, which I doubt it, I definitely am like, well, she had probably would find a way to add it in. But if it's all like folklore type sounding songs, I could see her maybe shoving like 2 in an acoustic section, or putting 2 in the surprise, 1 or 2 in the surprise set. Like I said, I do think there's a good chance that we will get some type of like long pond thing from this, especially if she doesn't add it to the album. I don't know if it will be, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if we get it the same day as the album release, just because like if she doesn't add it to the tour, then who knows when we would be able to hear her perform these songs live. So, and also like poetry, like obviously poetry is supposed to speak for itself, but I could see her wanting to kind of like explain, so I could see her doing some type of long pond thing to like hold over on, like, you're not getting these for this tour, but like here are these songs live. I don't feel like it would be at Long Pond though. I feel like she would go somewhere else to film it, especially just because the aesthetic is more light academia, and I feel like the Long Pond where it is more dark. So I feel like this album would be like, maybe she'd find like a castle or an old like school building or something, I don't know. But yeah, anyway, back to the tour. Yeah, so I just feel like there wouldn't be enough time for her band and crew to learn all these new songs so quickly and then incorporate them, and then she would also have to rehearse adding those into the set. If she had its own set, she would have to rehearse that, and it's like she only gets a month and a half off from tours. So it's like, does she really want to spend that time still on the stage rehearsing, adding these songs in, if it's going to be a full set? Like with the surprise, if she just adds an acoustic song into the surprise set, she just has to learn the set of songs, you know. She already probably knows all the songs already, but like she would just have to like know that song to perform it that night. She wouldn't have to like rehearse with the entire crew and stuff. Also another thing I found interesting when looking through the album and looking at her website is there's no clean versions, which to me obviously means that this album will not be explicit at all. Maybe she'd have like 1 or 2 like words in it, like how in Reputation she says the S word in one song, so it didn't have to be labeled as like explicit. But I think that this album might be completely clean. Like, I don't think she'll use any cuss words, which, going with the poetry thing, does make sense to me, especially classic poetry, because a lot of more classic poetry does not use swear words, so like it would make sense that she would want to not do that. I haven't seen anyone talk about that, but I find that interesting and gives another hint, I think, to what this album will like sound like. Also, do I think that she'll have come out with the single before the album drops? Based on the last couple of album drops, including re-recordings, I would say probably not. I'm sure she's filmed something. I'm sure we are obviously gonna get a music video. But I don't know if I feel like she's going to pre-release a single, just because she hasn't in her last couple of album releases, but obviously that can always change. I do find before she announced it, when her website was like black and had like the error code, it said error 321, obviously March 21st. That could allude to, which kind of makes me think like maybe that date. I think it's, people think it's just her counting down like 3, 2, 1, but I could also see it having some significance. So like maybe that's the day we'd get the lead single, or maybe that's the day she'll release the track list. I did see someone say that they think that she has 17 shows till the album releases, so maybe at each, and there's 17 tracks on the album, so maybe at each show she'll announce a track title, which I definitely could see. I don't know exactly how she would do that though, unless like for each post, because I think she's like posted for each show like a post on her like Instagram and stuff, if she puts it in there, but I don't know what point during the show I guess during the surprise sections, but that would be kind of like random, like, oh, track 5 is Ghosted, and this is All You Gotta Do Is Stay. Actually, maybe she might do that if she like announces it and she's like, every night before the surprise songs I'm going to announce one track, but then it's gonna seem like she's about to perform that song, so I don't know. But I could see her doing that, but at the same time I think 321, because a problem she has is like she usually tries to wait till like right before the album comes out to release the track list, but also like a lot of times when she does that, the track list ends up getting leaked literally like right before she announces it, because probably she waits till the songs are sent to the store, but then somebody beats her to it. So but I get also why she doesn't do it too early, because apparently that makes leaks more possible, I guess, because people are more able to like look into the song titles and find the songs. But I kind of feel like if it happens either way, I kind of feel like I am like, yeah, just like announce one every day leading up to it. So another thing we have to think about is Target, because obviously she always does some type of special release with Target, so it's like, is she still gonna do that? Probably, but what will it be if we're already getting, like, the standard track has the standard CD has the standard CD has one CD, it's one CD, and then it has a double-sided poster, and then obviously the booklet with like the lyrics and stuff, and then and I think also it's the standard one, I think also has the manuscript song, and then obviously the collector's edition has different like photo cards and like the envelopes and all that. So it makes me wonder what she would do for the Target the version of it, and it makes me think that we'll probably have an alternate, if she does do one, which she has done one, I think, since Speak Now, so I can't see that changing. But I could see her doing like a different cover, and maybe even having another deluxe song, which would go with me saying like the standard has on the CD it says file name the manuscript, and then having the Target one be like file name whatever the Target deluxe track is. Just something to think about, because I know people rush to buy stuff and then she ends up putting out like something else that you would rather have, so think about that. It's coming out in the spring. It's coming out almost exactly a month before my 24th birthday. My birthday is May 25th. Also, April 19th, I looked it up, and it's apparently also National, like, Poetry and Creative Mind Day. I don't know how, like, widely celebrated that is and acknowledged it is, but I looked up what is on April 19th, and that came up. So that might be significant, or one of the reasons why she picked that release date. Yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I'm missing, because I feel like I'm gonna turn the camera off and then immediately be like, shit, I forgot to mention that or say that. I did kind of, I predicted when Midnight would come out. I predicted it on my Tumblr. Right before she, like, announced it, I was like, oh, she's gonna release something on October 21st. And this time I didn't predict the exact date, but I did say, like, put on my Tumblr like a month ago or something, that I feel like something's gonna happen in April in her life. I was like, I feel like a significant change is gonna happen in her life. I don't think it's bad, but I just sensed something happening in April, and the album's coming out in April, so I did do that. You can follow me on Tumblr. I link all my stuff down below, because I do post a lot on there, and a lot of my theories about Taylor on there. So if you're interested in that, I can't really think of anything else right now that I want to talk about, because we don't have the track titles other than the manuscript. I was gonna make yesterday I was supposed to make my top 10 Taylor songs. I was thinking about doing that today, but I really wanted to make a video about this new release, because it's like all that's on my mind, so I needed to, like, get my thoughts out, like I said. So I don't know when that video will be out. I did scrap my aesthetics I want Taylor Swift to try, just because the original part 1 of that video didn't do that good, and it's a long script. A lot of work goes into it, and so, like, if my long form content isn't doing, not that I'm, like, doing that great on YouTube, but, like, if I see my long form video getting significantly less views, it does make me less motivated to want to do that, because it takes a lot of planning and stuff. And I did write the script for that video, but also filming it takes a lot, so I ended up scrapping it, which I'm kind of fine with, even though it took a long time to write. But I do still have the footage. I only have, like, 2 more parts to film, so if you watch that other video and you do want the other part, let me know. But I'm trying to, winter is kicking my ass. Like, I just have no motivation. As soon as daylight saving time hits, and especially as soon as this album comes out, I feel like I'm gonna be in it. I'm gonna be ready to film, but it's just really hard right now, because I have regular depression, and then the seasonal hits too, and it just creates a mess. So I'm trying. This definitely put this definitely, like, set a spark in me, her announcing this album. So we'll see. But I can't think of anything else that I want to say about this album, even though I'll probably think of something as soon as I turn this camera off. I'm just super excited. I feel like this album's probably gonna, I already feel like this is how I felt about Folklore and Evermore. Like, when she announced Folklore and Evermore, I immediately was like, these are gonna be her best albums. Well, Folklore is her best, I think maybe Folklore, I don't know, I can't even barely remember when Evermore came out. That was such a blur. But, like, with Folklore, I was like, this is gonna be the best, one of her best albums, and it was. And that's how I feel about this one, especially as a girl who is very much into the singer-songwriter stuff now, way more than the pop stuff. I'm like, I'm ready for this. 72 I think, days. It seems so far away, but I it's gonna be here in a blink of an eye. Because that's how I felt about 1989, where I was like, oh my god, it's so, but then it was just here. I'm trying to think of already, I'm like already, like, I want to make my, like, bingo board for it, of, like, things I think she's gonna, like, reference in the album, but we don't even know that much about the album, but at the same time, I don't know if we are even going to get that much more information about it, because she, like, we barely got anything about Midnight, so, like, I don't know if it's gonna be any different, especially with her being in the middle of a tour. But yeah, I don't know. If you have any questions for me about this album, or you want to know my thoughts or something, you can leave them in the comments, send me an ask or whatever on Tumblr or whatever. Because I'm just like, this album is like all I want to talk about, but like we don't really know that much, so there's only so much you can talk about with it. But anyway, I'm gonna go, and I will see you guys